So I just finished my last day of work as an English teacher in Japan, and the biggest question I asked myself while I was turning in my letter of resignation was, what would life look like if I actually let myself live life on my own terms? Imagine that for a second. What if becoming the best version of yourself was something you work towards every single day, not something that you put off till tomorrow? What if you took back the freedom of just being you? Everything about freedom and self-concept I'm gonna be breaking down today has never been talked about on YouTube in this way before. I'm going to reframe the concept of living in complete freedom using a medium that has dominated pop culture: One Piece. But before we get to all that, let's discuss the problem with modern day self-development documentation journeys. They promise you a plan, a template, a list of actionable items that you can do in order to change your life in 90 days or 6 months, but they miss the point of permanency. They fail to analyze the mindset shifts that need to occur in order for you to actually become a better version of yourself. Because if you're the writer of your own story, you have to lock yourself back in the writer's room and craft a different story arc for yourself. Nobody else is going to do it for you. So you have to make the decision to quit your job. You have to go ahead and work for that physique that you crave. You have to create the life that you know you deserve. So if you're feeling sick of finding yourself in the same repetitive cycles of disappointment, if you're ready to let go of fear, anxiety, and limiting beliefs holding you back, if you're done denying yourself the freedom of becoming the best version of you, then this video is going to change your life, but it's gonna start by changing mine.
Hi, I'm Olga, and for most of my life, I thought I was going to be a big shot corporate lawyer. My mom wanted it, my mentors wanted it, hell, I wanted it, because truth is, it made me feel good to imagine a future where everyone around me validated my purpose. But law wasn't my dream. It was the box I'd locked myself in, and I just couldn't do it. So 2 years ago, I packed my bags, moved to Japan, and desperately tried to find the one piece I was missing: my creative voice. I always flirted with the idea of creating and sharing content, but I doubted my own creativity. It felt just out of reach. But 2024 taught me that no one else is going to fight for your dreams because they aren't you. One Piece highlights this idea that our childhood dreams aren't something to be ashamed of, that they're worth more than any opinion or judgment.
One eternity later.
How long is this going to take?
After 28 years, 1,129 episodes, and a live adaptation, we still have yet to see Luffy achieve that goal. But is he bothered by this? Is he moaning and whining and comparing himself to others alone in bed at night? No. This dude is out here living his best life, having the greatest adventures, fighting the most powerful villains to get stronger and stronger. And the biggest gag is, Luffy's end goal isn't even to just become king of the pirates.
だからよ、俺は海賊王になるんだよ。偉くなりてえわけじゃねえ。
Luffy isn't attached to the image that comes with the label. He doesn't care about having some fancy lifestyle. He doesn't believe in titles, class, putting others down, or even putting them on a pedestal. He sees beyond all that, straight into the core of people. He sees their insecurities, their aspirations, and that's why he works so hard to protect everyone.
親分や大海賊じゃなくてもいいだろ。お前らが困ったら俺たちを呼べ。必ず助けに行くから。
Becoming king of the pirates will do nothing to fundamentally change who Luffy is because he already is exactly who he needs to be. The Pirate King title just serves as a vehicle for him to achieve what he truly desires: freedom. You see, freedom is the most powerful thing we can have. It allows us to live with intention and purpose. It allows us to see things as they are and simply act accordingly, however we want. Having a fancy title or lifestyle will never replace the happiness and satisfaction we could be feeling if we lived freely. But what is freedom? Most people have their own perception of what freedom means, but what makes Luffy's take on it resonate with a global audience is that he actually discusses it in a broader sense. Even when confronted by an oppressive power structure of slavery, war, or political scheming, Luffy's freedom is not bogged down by complexity. It's actually quite simple. Freedom is lifting the barriers that prevent you from living life on your own terms. Luffy's defining quality is his refusal to be anything other than true to himself, against all odds. This has made him stronger, better, wiser, a true leader, and a beacon of freedom. He inspires others to seek liberation. The combination of his people skills, his haki, which will boil down to mystical people skills, optimism, and high vibrational energy dispels fear and shame. During the Water 7 arc, Robin, a member of Luffy's crew, was confronted by a secret organization with the knowledge of her troubled past, her dark family history that put this idea in her head that her entire existence was some big crime. At this point in time, she genuinely believed it was in her nature to burden others and felt it was only a matter of time before the crew would eventually abandon her. So she expedited the process and intentionally antagonized them. She wasn't looking for rescue or pity, she really wanted to die. And when she tells Luffy she's made up her mind, he doesn't judge her. He doesn't immediately call her BS. He challenges her instead to think about a potential where the situation didn't exist, where her past actions didn't matter. What would she really wish? What would she really say? And that's all it takes. A glimpse of freedom, a glimmer of hope, leads to one of the most emotional moments of the entire series. She wants to live. She chooses liberation. Luffy inspires others because he frees people of their own mentality, and he attracts loyalty from them because at his core, he is devoid of ego. He isn't important to himself, that doesn't matter, but his principles matter, his morals matter, his friends matter, and because he believes in that, he believes in everyone's dreams. That's actually the reason why Luffy doesn't kill his opponents. Physically, he beats them to a pulp, but emotionally, he's already destroyed them by bringing them to an inch of their life, to the point where their dreams flash before their eyes, nearly shattered in their final moments. If the dream dies, the man dies, but that man's dream itself never dies. It will just be inherited by someone else. So Luffy gives them a second chance to fight for that dream. Dreams are desires, and desires are inherently selfish. Luffy isn't an exception to that, and yet acting selfishly has only led to selfless acts, to giving without asking for return. And as Luffy has laughed, cried, lost, won, suffered, rejoiced, he's actually managed to eliminate the selfish craving of desire. It doesn't consume him. He intrinsically knows his path, and he follows it with childlike joy. That's right. This man is goofy and straight up weird. That's how I like it. He acts like a child, yes, but that keeps him in a state of wonder and gratitude all the time. It keeps him believing in his own dream, even if it sounds childish. After all, we used to dream, didn't we? Luffy challenges the modern notion of maturity. You don't have to be an edgelord. You don't have to be cold and calculating and bored or depressed. He reaches into your soul and brings out the whimsical nature inside of you, the silly little guy inside of you, bringing your true self into the surface.
So now I want to do the same with myself, and I hope you'll join me because for the next 3 weeks, I'm on a mission to be just as delusional as Monkey D. Luffy. I need to find my one piece that's gonna make me unique and valuable to this world, and that's how I'm going to pursue passion from now on. So here's the plan. I'm going to track 4 key areas of my life: physical health, mental health, creative flow, and intellectual growth. In these 4 areas, I really want to assess how freedom and the sense of being free affects the enjoyment of the process, right? How much am I enjoying the actual doing of the things? So for physical health, this means what type of movement makes me feel the most free. I've gotten to a stage in my life where I realize that I'm not working out for boys, and I'm definitely not working out for some kind of beauty standard. I just want to work out so that I can feel flexible, healthy, and just like the overall best physical condition possible. But I don't want to just do weights. So maybe movement looks like dance to me in an expressive way. Maybe it looks like yoga. Maybe it looks like calisthenics. Maybe it looks like, I don't know, manual labor. We'll find out together. In terms of mental health, I really want to embody the same energy as Luffy. Like, he can get up from anything, okay? I don't think I would get up if my brother died. I don't know how I would survive something like that. I don't know how I would survive most things that Luffy has survived, gonna be honest with you. But he does it anyway,
and he comes out stronger every single time, and he continues to be the same goofy little kid as he was at the beginning of the series. Like, that's how much I want to be confident in my self-concept. I want it to be unbreakable. I want that unbreakable spirit. In terms of creative flow, I really want to explore what YouTube has for me because, like I said, I've always flirted with the idea of content creation, and now I'm actually doing it. This is a way for me to not take myself so seriously. I'm just having fun with it. This is the content that I would like to see, so I'm just going to create it myself. And if it goes somewhere, then that's great. That means I can actually have a creative flow. So we'll see. Maybe I also become an artist. Who knows? And in terms of intellectual growth, that's basically just going away from the brain rot and going to brain games, brain practice, brain quest. Do you know brain quest? It was I want to say it was for smart kids, but it was basically like it was a game, but they really asked you boring questions about history and reading comprehension. Anyways, you don't need to know about brain quest. What you do need to know is that instead of, for example, books, sorry, the ADHD brain, I want to read more books again. I used to be a book girly. I was consuming 500-page books once or twice a day even. Hours on end spent reading. It was my form of escapism, I'm not gonna lie. And I spent my fair amount of time addicted to YA books, which some YA novels, awesome, I endorse them. Some YA novels, they need to go far, far away. And in conclusion, the books I would like to be reading are the ones that are going to make my brain cells just fire and wire together. Okay, I want to get some new wavelengths going in there. I'm trying to experience growth, and I'm not saying that I'm just going to start reading Rich Dad Poor Dad, but I am saying that I'm going to read more books about psychology, mental health, maybe some memoirs, who knows, whatever I can get my hands on, because I'm also in Japan and I can't read Japanese to save my life. Although practicing Japanese, also a form of intellectual growth. Talking to a stranger for just one conversation a day, that's intellectual growth. It can be socio-intellectual. Having connection with my friends or with the people that I meet, that's intellectual growth. That's helping my brain. So yeah, I just want to be free. I just want to be like Luffy. And for that to happen, I feel like the most important thing is to track how I'm implementing an element of play into everything that I do. Because that's how Luffy does everything. He even fights his villains like it's just a little game that they're having. He's like, this is Ore no Saiko da! Like that's his energy, and that's the energy that I want to embody. I want to be having complete and utter fun in anything that I'm doing. So having a sense of play is going to be really, really important. And that's about it. Ultimately, freedom isn't something we have to spend time reaching for. It's something we already have within us. We have it if we allow ourselves to simply live, to be present in the journey. It is the culmination of our long-term dreams and our everyday choices. It is our unique identity, a beautiful myriad of all our experiences, of all the people we let in, of the food we eat and the connections we nurture, a mosaic of liberty. I hope you'll be joining me on this journey across the grand line of our fears and doubts. And I promise this series is going to be filled with so much entertainment and wholesome adventure. So drop a like, leave a comment, and definitely subscribe.